Hey y'all, how you doing? I'm doing all right. Just got home from getting some crickets, and I'll be feeding all my tarantulas here in a little while. But I hadn't made a video in a while. So today I want to kind of talk about my childhood. I think I've said before that I honestly don't remember much of my childhood. But, you know, through my parents and pictures and such like that, I do know details. I was born in Orlando. Well, yeah, Orlando. Daddy was Navy, so we moved quite frequently. I think one year might have been my second grade. I ended up going to 3 different schools that year, if I'm not mistaken. I've lived in Key West. I've lived in Pensacola. We lived near Albany, Georgia at one point. Lived up in Tennessee at one point. And it was always hard for me to make friends with people because I knew I'd be leaving. So, I mean, I don't think I was ever really difficult with making friends, but it definitely was not as easy as it comes to some. I do remember that I've always had, had some friends around me, which has always been fine. But I was also a very, very talkative girl. Almost every single report card that got sent home, in the comments, it would say, Robin's a good student, but she tends to talk too much and interrupts the other children during class. So, yeah, that was continuously on my report cards up until like 8th grade, I think, when I finally was able to get control of my talking. The hardest time I had making friends was when I moved up here to Virginia. Living in a small town and coming into kids that have known each other pretty much all their lives was not easy. The friends I made mostly were cousins of mine, which I didn't mind. That just made it even better. I had just a few friends, just a handful, but I wasn't hated by any stretch, but I just, I was not popular, didn't have a ton of friends, didn't get invited to parties or shit like that, but then again, I really didn't give a shit. Onyx, stop. Oh, every time I try and make a video, my cats have to get in my face and be noisy. Crazy animals. But when we moved up here, it was very difficult for me to adjust because not only was it difficult making friends, but I had typically always been in a city until this point. And now we were in the country, in the mountains, with no one but my grandmother around. And with my mom and dad working, I couldn't go places unless they took me. I couldn't stay after school because there was no after-school bus. And if any of my friends did want to come to visit me, most of them couldn't figure out where the fuck I lived. So I really hated growing up here. It was miserable for me. And the fact that my grandmother was extremely well known in the political arena in this area did not help. She was friends, and my parents became friends with the sheriff of the county. And they knew most of the deputies as well. So I couldn't get by with shit. Even if I wanted to try, which I think 9 times out of 10 I didn't try anything, simply for the fact that I knew I'd end up getting caught. But, you know, the fact that your parents personally know the sheriff, it really doesn't go over too well with kids. But, you know, I survived. But it was not until after I became a parent and got older that I started to understand how wonderful this place is. Because I really could not wait to move back here. It was high on my list of things to accomplish, and I did, thankfully. And I'll never leave. My kids and grandkids are in Tidewater area. And I lived in that area for about 25 years. And as much as I want to be near them, there's no way I could move back out there. It's not a possibility for me. I'd end up killing somebody. So there's no way I'm leaving here again. Being out there for the 10 days at the beginning of June, that was the best 10 days of my life, but it was also it increased my anxiety and definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. But it was well worth being away from home and being out there to get that time with my kids and grandkids. It was awesome. But my childhood, really, what I remember was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't horrible. I was left to my own devices a lot. But I usually spent that time reading. I absolutely love to read. I did when I was a child. I do now. And sometimes it bothers me knowing that I don't remember a lot of my childhood because of trauma that I don't remember. I can only guess as to things that may have happened that would have mirrored what happened to me as a teenager and preteen that I do remember. I don't want to challenge that. There would be no benefit in remembering anything like that. So that's good. But I do have a lot of good memories. Maybe my life was turmoil, but I can't complain about it really, because it really was a pretty decent life for me. Lovey, stop trying to kill my crickets. Dad, of course, was always working, but the time I got to spend with Dad was always cherished. When Mom was in a good mood, spending time with her was great too. But unfortunately, her bad days really did outweigh the good. And I know it wasn't her fault, but that didn't make it any easier at the time. When you're in that kind of a situation, you suppress a lot. You don't talk about it. You pretend a lot. And over the years, I've gotten real good at having that facade of everything's fine, because I had no one to talk to, no one to support me. And I only had myself to depend on, so that's what I did. But I really have worked past all that. It has 1000% shaped me into who I am. Growing up that way puts a serious damage to your self-esteem and your psyche. But thankfully, with a lot of hard work and very good therapy, I'm overcoming all of it. At the ripe age of 53. I know. I spent a lot of years covering up everything and pushing it so far down that it could not surface. And I just kept piling on and piling on. So slowly working through all of that has been difficult, but it's definitely been well worth it. I sometimes wish I didn't have to go through that crap. But, you know, it is what it is. So, just thought I'd talk a little bit. And, you know, let you know, yeah, you can grow up in circumstances that you don't like, but you can still be a good person if you choose to be. You don't have to let it turn you into a uncaring or hard person, because it's not worth it to let things that have happened make you into a hard person. I'm not hard, I'm strong. I am extremely strong. I am extremely adaptable. I am resilient. And by this point, I fucking feel unbreakable. I certainly don't want to put that to the test. But I owe all that to the way I was raised and things that happened in my childhood. So, as much as I may have not liked the way I grew up, I am grateful for it, for all it has taught me. So, all right, I'm going to get off here because my cats are driving me insane. And I'm done for now. I gotta go feed my crickets to the tarantulas. So, I thank you for watching this. I appreciate it. I love y'all, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Bye.